The election campaign off and running. Australians are off to the polls in 35 days' time with an election set for May 3rd. The next 5 weeks of campaigning will be critical in what's shaping as one of the closest run elections in years. Our political correspondent Cam Redden is live in the studio, and both leaders have made their first big pitch to the nation.
The first impression always matters, Kieran. The Prime Minister did it this morning in the Prime Minister's courtyard. He'll be off around the country before we know it. Peter Dutton having the opportunity to do the same in the last half an hour or so, making his pitch to be the nation's leader, saying he wants to be the Prime Minister that would be known for home ownership, for getting people into their first home, reiterating again a promise that's been many years in the making, really, $50,000 withdrawn from super to allow more young people to get into their first home. He paints the Prime Minister as weak. He says, I'll be tough on national security. I will be a strong leader. We also heard a lot around energy policy, and this was the big surprise in the budget in reply speech last night from Peter Dutton around backing an East Coast gas reserve, which he says could increase supply by around 10 to 20%. Going a little step further even this morning, setting something of a time frame for when he believes household power bills will be coming down. Now, this is the key, saying that he thinks he can get more gas into the system by the end of this calendar year, that he says will have an almost immediate effect on prices and then lower household prices from the end of 2025. This could be the key promise coming out of this morning. This is Peter Dutton a short time ago.
Our positive plan for Australia means that we can bring more gas into the system by the end of this calendar year. That gas, which is in the system now, is going to be diverted into domestic consumption. And if we can do that, that is going to have a downward pressure on prices straight away. But starting from the end of this calendar year, we have the ability to bring a lot of gas into the system so that we can see that downward pressure, not just on gas, but on electricity prices as well.
So lower prices from the end of this year. That is the promise from Peter Dutton this morning. Does that make this default market offer the critical piece of information when it comes to whether that mark can be met? This was released just a couple of weeks ago. It has been trending up over the years under Labor, up $500 roughly in New South Wales and in Queensland over the course of the Labor government. If those figures will get a new set in March of next year, Kieran, do those figures, if Peter Dutton wins, become the benchmark? Now, one Labor source has said to me this isn't a 275 promise, but perhaps it's as close as we've come. Peter Dutton saying he can now get more gas in by the end of the year, prices down from the end of the year. We get one of those again in March next year. If he wins, does that become the measuring stick for Peter Dutton's energy plan?
Yeah, and the good question, though, if he wins, is a fair way off, though, isn't it? Now, in Cam, the Prime Minister speaking earlier, focused on the progress that's been achieved, but also some challenges ahead.
Yeah, very much. The dark clouds that both Anthony Albanese and Jim Chalmers have been talking about gathering around the world in the global economy, the threat of a trade war, still uncertainty and instability in Eastern Europe. The Prime Minister talking himself up as a steady hand this morning, saying it's not time to change course or change trajectory. He was asked about a range of things, including his relationship with Donald Trump. Some of the internal Labor polling suggests that might not be as big a problem for Labor as some had feared, that voters do believe he has the capacity to deal with the president, noting that many other countries have struggled too. And domestically, the message is all about how far Australians have come, that inflation has come down, that unemployment has remained steady, and that wages continue to rise. The Prime Minister making his big pitch in the courtyard this morning.
Ready to go? You bet. Born ready. In uncertain times, we cannot decide the challenges that we will face, but we can determine how we respond. Our government has chosen to face global challenges the Australian way, helping people under cost of living pressure while building for the future. Because of the strength and resilience that our people have shown, Australia is turning the corner. Now, on the 3rd of May, you choose the way forward.
So where do we go from here, Kieran? It's a little bit of hurry up and wait. All the formal procedures behind the scenes are going ahead to make sure planes are ready so the leaders are ready to go. There's rucksacks and suitcases all through the corridor, so we'll be off around the country before you know it.
Yes, you will be, and we'll be talking to you right throughout the next month and a bit.